don't disappear every day. They are there, and then suddenly the next day they are gone. Thankfully, some people are found, but sadly, there are those who are lost forever. Welcome to another installment of Black Site Files from Unsolved Mysteries. In this installment, we will be hearing about the case of Father John Kerrigan. This case first aired on the November 23rd, 1988 episode of Unsolved Mysteries. This is part 2 of what I consider to be the Franciscan Connection 2-part series. Oh my god, I cannot say that word correctly. Anyway, is John Kerrigan an innocent victim, or did John disappear due to more ominous reasons? Stay tuned, and we'll be hearing a lot about this case right after these brief commercials.
You're smiling and all the while your heart just pounds away. The training builds and ends on this fateful day. It's the Pepsi generation face to face at a frog jumping race. Come on, come on, come on and have a Pepsi day. Come on, come on, come on and taste the Pepsi way. Come on and have a Pepsi day.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are all having a great evening. This is what I consider to be a 2-part mini-series, I guess you could say. I'm not sure what the correct term would be, but it's a 2-parter. But let's just say it's a 2-parter. If you are curious about part 1, which covers Father Ronaldo Rivera, I'm going to put a link up here in the corner, and it will take you to that case. Just to do a quick summary of the previous episode, or previous installment. 2 years prior to this case, Father Ronaldo Rivera was brutally murdered. He, along with Father John Kerrigan, belonged to the same order of Catholics known as Franciscans. It's believed that there could be some sort of a linking factor there between Father Ronaldo Rivera's murder and the disappearance of John Kerrigan, but nobody really knows what that connection could be besides the fact that they belong to the same order of Catholics. With that said, we are now going to basically get to this case of Father John Kerrigan. So let's do this, and then I'm going to do this, and let's make this full screen. There we go. And there we are, good to go. Let me turn on my, oh, that's why I really need to turn on my mouse for people to see. Probably not. Okay, so if you are new to this series, which I, hope that you are, either you are new or you're a returning viewer. Either way, if you have not seen this series before, basically, I will go to the Unsolved Mysteries wiki, and I will have my lovely assistant, her name is Jasmine. She will read to us the case of Father John Kerrigan. Now, Jasmine is a totally awesome secretary. I think she's a little bit sexy in that outfit, but, that's just me. But she will read to you the case of Father John Kerrigan. In reality, it is going to be the Read Aloud program that is part of the Microsoft Edge browser. Now, just for future reference, the program is not that best. It's not that reliable. Even though this is actually a program that is built into Microsoft Edge, it never really works that as it is expected to be, I guess. So do not be shocked if we have a few hiccups in this video. So here, I'm going to start off first. So we have Father John Kerrigan. His real name is John Patrick Kerrigan. He had no known nicknames. The location that he was last seen was Ronan, Montana. The date was July 20th, 1984. Now, his biography reads that his occupation is that he was a priest. His date of birth was July 20th, 1926. Wow, if he is still alive, he would be 98 years old. Wow, holy shit. His height is 6 foot, and his weight fluctuates between 185 and 200. He was single, And his characteristics are he is a white male with gray blonde hair and blue eyes. He was last seen wearing a white t-shirt, red shorts, and tennis shoes. Sounds like something I would like to wear, you know. Okay, so I'm gonna select just this little paragraph here, and let's see if the program actually has, can read this without giving us any problems. So 3, 2, 1. Let's hope for the best, ladies and gentlemen. Please, please, please. Anytime now.
This case.
And of course, right off the bat, it fucking acted up. So before I even continue, I would just want to make sure that there are no updates, because sometimes I'm wondering if a lack of updates could. Nope, it's all up to date. It's all up to date, ladies and gentlemen. So whatever the problem is with this goddamn program, Microsoft has never fixed. Okay, let's try a little bit smaller. Let's try a little bit smaller section. Let's go down just to there. Come on. I think you could do it. Come on.
Details. 58-year-old Father John Kerrigan was a Catholic priest at the Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Ronan, Montana. He was born in Butte, Montana, and was ordained in 1954.
Okay, so he was ordained when he was in 1954. He was born in an area called Butte, Montana. I love the name of that. I'm not sure why, but I like the name Butte, Montana. There's just something about it. But yeah, so let's continue on. Okay, so we will go. Let's see here. Come on, please. Come on.
This case first aired on the November.
Wow, seriously, you piece of shit program. Literally, it cannot. I'm not sure what is it. I'm wondering if it's because if it's full screen. Let's take it out of full screen and see if that helps. Literally, what is the purpose of this read aloud program when it can't even fucking do the job correctly, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, let's see here.
When they are ordained, Catholic priests vow to become servants of God and servants of their community. Their door is always open to those in need, but their faith can place them in jeopardy. A priest's willingness to help, no matter who, when, or where, can even threaten his own life.
Okay, so basically, they make it kind of sound like it's a do or die kind of thing. Like, if you do become a priest, there is a chance that you could put your life at risk, which is kind of sad because a priest is meant to help people. Now, granted, I've never talked to a priest. I never really needed help from one. I'm not a religious person, so it really doesn't bother me. But yeah, the fact is, you would think that's a guy doing God, work for God, that they'd have a little bit of better like karma given to them, Okay, so let's go down to here. Okay, so come on. Come on, I know you can do it.
Father Kerrigan has disappeared, and Father Reynaldo Rivera of Santa Fe, New Mexico, has been murdered. Authorities fear these two cases, 1,000 miles and 2 years apart, may be connected. It is even possible that there is a serial killer at large who is exclusively murdering Catholic priests.
So I'm not really going to cover Father Ronaldo Rivera. I already did that in the previous installment. So basically, if he's mentioned, it's basically going to be because of the program itself. I'm focusing more on the case of Father John Kerrigan.
Father Kerrigan was new to the Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Ronan. He had only been there 2 days when he vanished. For the previous 2 years, he had served at a parish in Plains, Montana.
It sounds like priests can be moved around, from location to location. I always, I always thought that like once you become a priest, you kind of become a priest of the location where you were ordained, I guess you could say. But apparently they can move you around, you know. However, there is, as we read further on, there is a chance that something could be a little bit ominous about Father John Kerrigan. Let's see here. So, if you are aware of what has been going on in the Catholic Church, you may know what I'm talking about. Okay.
On the night of Friday, July 20th, 1984, Father Kerrigan went for a walk around Ronan. At 11 p.m., he stopped at Denolds Bakery, across the street from the church, to chat with his new parishioners. He told them he was planning to attend a funeral and a wedding in Plains the next day. After a few minutes, he left, saying he was going to return to the rectory and go to bed.
Go to bed. I love this program. How it doesn't. It rarely ever finishes the last word. It's always like the first couple letters. I find that to be hilarious. But on a different note, when was the last time you ever saw a bakery be opened at 11 p.m.? Not many businesses where I live are open at 11 p.m. A lot of it's gas stations. There is one grocery store that's actually open 24 hours, and then other than that, everything is like closed down. And even at that grocery store, the bakery section is actually closed at 11 p.m. So it's like I'm used to seeing like possible gas stations or grocery stores be open at 11 p.m. But a bakery, now that was weird. You never expect a bakery to be open at 11 p.m. And this doesn't look like it's that this is like a big name bakery or like a big chain. Let's just do a quick look. Denalt Bakery. Is it still here? I'm wondering. Now, I'm not sure if this is the same Denalt's Petite Bakery. Where's this at? Does it say where? No. I'm guessing that since a lot of the permanent. Okay, so it's permanently closed. Would love to know when it closed. When did it close down? I wonder. Okay, but yeah. So now I got my answer. Okay, well, sadly, it is closed, ladies and gentlemen. So if you ever found yourself in Ronan, Montana, and you're looking for Denalt's Bakery, sadly, it is closed. But yeah, it's weird that you'd find a bakery open that late. Oh, I was wrong. I was wrong. There is another place that's opened, and I guess you could say it's kind of like a bakery where I live. There is a donut store that's part of a chain, if I remember correctly. It's called Heavenly Donuts. The reason it's called Heavenly Donuts, in my opinion, is the price is so high, you're going to keel over when you see it, and then you're going to go to heaven. But anyway, yeah, so they're actually open 24 hours also. So Winchell's, or not Winchell's used to be there, but then it became Heavenly Donuts. But anyway, so he went to a bakery, visited with some people. He had plans for the day after, and then he sadly disappeared. Okay, let's see if we can actually go down here, because it seems to hopefully be working a little bit better. I'm wondering if I cannot have it on full screen. I'm wondering if that's what's causing the problems. Come on, please.
The next day, Saturday, July 21st, Father Kerrigan did not show up for his first Mass at the church. That morning, at a turnout along Highway 35 next to the eastern shore of Flathead Lake, about 5 miles north of Ronan, a local fruit peddler was setting up her fruit stand when she discovered a pile of folded, bloody clothes. The items included a shirt, shoes, and a windbreaker jacket. She immediately called the police. After Father Kerrigan was reported missing that Monday, the clothes were identified as his. The blood matched his blood type. Hairs found on the clothes matched his hair. A $100 bill was in the shirt pocket. The shirt had no marks from a bullet, knife, or other weapon. Interestingly, the clothes found were not the ones he was wearing when he visited the BA.
The bakery, when he was visiting the bakery. Now, the fact that I mentioned this in the previous installment, the fact that they found a $100 bill leads me to believe that this was not your standard robbery. If it was robbery, that $100 bill would have been gone. And if you remember in the Father Ronaldo Rivera, oh God, I used the word just recently. It begins with an I. Fuck. Installment. Installment of this two-part series or two-parter. They found $1,200 in the trunk of Father Ronaldo Rivera's car. So clearly, whoever is doing this to these two priests, it is not robbery. Therefore, it makes me think it could be something more personal. And if it's something personal, you have to look at what has been going on with the Catholic Church over the last 20 plus years with the reports of various types of abuse towards younger people happening. Okay, so let's do this. Why else would they leave $1,200 in the back of a car along with a $100 bill in a shirt? Yeah.
The police conducted a search of the area around the fruit stand and on the hill behind it. A bloody coat hanger was found close to the clothing. Detective Sergeant Bruce Phillips of the Lake County Sheriff's Office concluded that the hanger was used either to strangle, gag, or tie up Father Kerrigan. The police were unable to determine what exactly it was used for, but they are certain it is connected to the case. Sergeant Phillips says it was not just lying there, it had been deformed and used for some purpose. A week later, on Sunday, July 29th, Father Kerrigan's car, a white and brown 1976 Chevrolet Impala, was found abandoned in a pasture alongside Skyline Drive in Polson, Montana, 5 miles south of the area where his clothes had been discovered. It had been wiped clean of fingerprints. Sergeant Phillips says they know that the car sat there for about a week before it was
Discovered. So it was abandoned for a few days. Okay. Now, if I'm not really mentioning that much about this case, it's because Father John Kerrigan was also part. He was mentioned in the Father Ronaldo Rivera case wiki, I guess you could say, or case wiki, whatever. And the problem is, I'm not sure if the stuff that they're mentioning, like if they were going to, if the John Kerrigan case for this wiki, if they had any different information from the previous installment that I did. So that's why we're kind of going through this. It's just I don't want to miss there being anything that could be unique to this wiki and wiki article compared to the Ronaldo Rivera. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue on.
Vered. A thorough search of the area was conducted. The car keys were found lying in the tall grass about 30 yards away. Blood was found on the front passenger seat, door panel, and floorboard. Several personal effects were found inside as well. In the trunk, they found a shovel and a pillow with blood on them. Blood was also splattered inside the trunk. Because there was rust on the shovel blade, police do not believe it was used to bury Father Kerrigan's body. The police were surprised to find $1,200 in Father Kerrigan's wallet, which was also in the trunk in a box labeled wallets. According to Sergeant Phillips, the money was not hidden in the wallet. None of it was disturbed, so the police do not believe robbery was a motive. They have theorized that he may have been called to administer last rites since his sacramental holy oils were
That they were missing. Okay, so I want to apologize. I got a little bit confused. I thought for some reason the $1,200 was found in Father Ronaldo Rivera's vehicle because both of them had their vehicles that were later ditched. So because of that, I thought the $1,200 was actually part of in Father Ronaldo Rivera his incident. So apparently the $100 in the shirt pocket and the $1,200 was actually part of Father Kerrigan's disappearance. So I do want to say that I apologize about that. Okay, so let's go down. Let's actually see how far we can actually push this. Let's go all the way down to here. because it looks like that maybe this cannot be on a full screen if we want the read aloud program to work. So let's just hope that it'll work. Come on, please.
Missing. Investigators soon learned that another priest had been murdered just 2 years before Father Kerrigan. On the evening of Thursday, August 5th, 1982, a call for help came into the rectory of St. Francis Cathedral in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Father Patrick Gerard answered. The caller identified himself as Michael Carmelo. He said that his grandfather was having a heart attack and he needed a priest to come immediately to administer the last rites. Father Gerard told the caller that he could not leave the rectory because he was legally blind. He said that all of the other priests were taking confessions.
Okay, wait, hold on. I think it's about to act up. Hold on. Okay, never mind.
Science. Father Gerard asked the caller to try again in 15 minutes. Exactly 15 minutes later, at 8:30 p.m., the telephone rang again. This time, Father Reynaldo Rivera took the call. The caller repeated his story. He said he was at the La Bajada rest stop on Interstate 25, 20 miles south of Santa Fe, and asked Father Rivera to meet him there. The caller said he would then drive Father Rivera to his grandfather's house near Waldo, New Mexico. Father Rivera agreed to the plan and asked the caller how he would recognize him. The caller said he was driving a blue pickup truck. He then asked Father Rivera what he was driving. Father Rivera said he would be in a 1974 cream-colored Chevrolet Malibu. He then told the caller that he could get there in 20 minutes. At 8:45 p.m., after the call was completed, Father Rivera left in his car.
Okay, is that it? Is that it? Are you gonna read more? Hold on.
On Saturday,
Okay. I thought it was gonna act up. Here, I'm gonna read this part here. So, when Father Rivera did not return to the rectory that night, he was reported missing. Authorities began a search for him in the Waldo area. Hundreds of citizens from Santa Fe volunteered to help in the search. They search on foot, horseback, in four-wheelers, and from the air. They combed the hills and the desert. Lieutenant Gilbert Ulibari of the Santa Fe Police Department says that almost everyone in Santa Fe knew Father Rivera. He had an impact on many of their lives. Let's go down to here. So I can't really push it that much or it's going to start messing up, possibly.
their lives. On Saturday, August 7th, 2 days after the search began, Father Rivera's body was found on a deserted dirt road off Interstate 25 south of Santa Fe, about a mile east of the Waldo exit and 3 miles from the rest stop. He had been shot in the abdomen. His hands had been bound. A mark on his neck indicated he may have been restrained with a wire. Other evidence suggested that he had been tied up and restrained for a period of time. After Father Rivera's body was found, the mayor of Santa Fe declared a day of mourning. At the funeral, the entire city grieved, devastated by his brutal murder. Corinne Martinez, secretary for St. Francis Cathedral, says that from Saturday until his burial, Santa Fe was awe-stricken. No matter what religion everyone was, they were all just one at that time. During the procession from the cathedral to the cemetery, the streets were full, and the sidewalks were lined with people who came to pay.
Pay their respects. It really, God, this guy sounded like he was, I don't want to say royalty, but my God, it sounds like he had one hell of an impact, on that community. It kind of reminds me of when, even though I don't really find myself to be a fan of the royal family in the UK. I'm not, I don't really care about them. It sounds like that kind of same thing when one of them dies, how everybody's, how, they fill the streets and everything. That's kind of like how it sounds to me. So let's continue on. Come on.
On the night of the murder,
No, 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 no.
IR respects. Father Antonio Valdez of St. Francis of Assisi says that Father Rivera went out on this call as an act of charity and love. He thinks that because Father Rivera showed this love for people, the people of Santa Fe responded. When Father Rivera died, they felt sadness in their hearts because they loved him. His sister, Elizabeth Abeda, says that everybody loved him. She is sure he is happy where he is now. But she and the rest of their family still miss him. On the night of the murder, the man calling himself Michael Carmelo told Father Rivera that
I told him that. Hold on.
the Rivera that he would be waiting for him at the La Bajada rest stop in a blue pickup truck. Lieutenant Ulibarri
Oh, come
believes the
on.
killer.
No.
Investigators discovered that the phone at the rest stop was out of service that night, so the call had to have been made somewhere else. Lieutenant Ulibarri has developed a theory of what happened that night. He believes the killer or killers were probably at the rest stop, waiting for Father Rivera. When he arrived there, they singled him out and convinced him to get into their vehicle. Lieutenant Ulibarri does not believe that one person could have handled Father Rivera because he would have given them a hard time. He believes that at least 2 people were involved in subduing Father Rivera because he was very strong. He also believes they controlled Father Rivera with a gun. Lieutenant Ulibarri believes the killers took Father Rivera to a remote desert area where they forced.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna finish this part off. Where they forced him out of the vehicle and killed him. Okay, now I was kind of thinking while Jasmine was reading this to us, I was kind of thinking about that bloody coat hanger that was located. Now I like to, I am an author of a book. I don't want to say a lot of books. It's one book I'm an author of, and I'm working on another book, and I'm trying to put myself in that place. Like, what would be the purpose of this coat, of the wire hanger? They said it could be used as possibly like a gag to silence him, which I don't see that at all. I don't see that at all. Because literally it would just go, it would literally just do this. Like literally, they said there was blood on it. So that means the wire part had to be in his mouth. They couldn't have had something wrapped around it, like a cloth or something for him to bite down on. It was literally just the wire itself, which means that he could still talk and make noises. It was not totally obstructing his mouth and him from making any sounds. I think they were implying that they could have stabbed him with it. That's a possibility. But as an author, I'm trying to put myself in that place. And what I think they could have done was, because they said that he was basically restrained. I think they said his hands and his legs were kind of handcuffed and tied behind him. So basically, he couldn't really do anything. They probably, what I could imagine was that they had him on his knees in the desert just before they killed him. They had the wire hanger. They probably had it wrapped around each hand. And instead of putting it in his mouth, I think what they were doing was they put it around his neck. And they put like a foot or a knee or something in the middle of Father Ronaldo Rivera's back. And they were pulling, kind of like choking him. And the reason being, they were possibly interrogating him. I'm wondering if that this was a hit. And that the person who ordered the hit could have been possibly a victim of some crimes that were committed against the people via the priest. That's the only thing I could think, is that they literally had this wire hanger. They had it, against, and they were just kind of like pulling back. And then after a few seconds, they would let go, and then they would ask him a question like, "Did you hurt this person? Yes or no?" And this interrogation went on until possibly they either got the answers that they were looking for, or they were literally told he's not going to answer, finish him off. At least that's what I'm kind of seeing as we hear this. Okay, so let's continue on. Come on.
This case first aired on the November 20.
Okay, well, it's not the fact that it's not the fact that it was in full screen because it's acting up again. Okay, hold on. I'm still trying to. With a gun. Where they force him out of. Okay, well, I'm trying to figure out where I last left off. Where the fuck did I? That's one thing I hate. There's no way you can really remember, like recall where you last were. Just one at a time. Sessions, Cathedral. If need be, I'll just one person could have handled him. Remote desert area where they forced him out of the vehicle. Okay, I think this is where it was. Okay, they then drove him to a. Let's try this.
Lou and killed him. They then drove to the dirt road near Waldo and dumped his body. Lieutenant Ulibarri says the killers could have hidden Father Rivera anywhere in the Waldo area. He notes that there are several areas where you can hide a body and it will never be found. He believes the killers wanted Father
Rivera to be found. And if that's the case, maybe it was as like a message to other priests who could have been victimizing young children. And the message is like, hey, this is what's coming for you possibly if you hurt a child. That's what I can imagine.
Rivera to be found. After the crime, the killers returned to the rest stop.
Nope. Continue on.
To the rest stop to remove Father Rivera's car. It was found Saturday, August 7th, at a rest area along Interstate 40, just east of Grants, New Mexico, about 110 miles from Santa Fe. The doors were locked and the gas tank was empty. The keys were missing. There was little physical evidence found inside. No bloodstains were found. There was nothing to indicate that someone had even driven the car. It had been wiped clean.
And
the Santa Fe police had few clues and...
Okay, hold on. This is something I kind of mentioned in the previous installment. They're saying that both vehicles seem to have been wiped clean, but I think they said that they found some evidence. So apparently these vehicles were not wiped clean if they're still able to find some evidence, Okay, let's see here. Hopefully you'll continue reading. Come on.
And after a nationwide check, they found no suspects named Michael Carmelo. Regarding motive, Lieutenant Ulibarri believes that Father Rivera was not the target. He believes a Catholic priest was the target for whatever reason. Robbery was not a motive because there was nothing taken from Father Rivera other than his last rites kit, which included a prayer book, a vial of holy oil, a communion wafer, a candle, and a crucifix.
Okay, now regarding his last rites kit, this is something I mentioned in the previous installment. I'm wondering if this was a hit job. Could the last rites kit have taken as a form of confirmation that the hit was successful? Why else would you take a last rites kit unless you're like a Satanist? But I don't think this was Satanist. I think this was taken just simply as a way to confirm that the target was indeed deceased. Okay, let's continue on. Please.
Crucifix. Lieutenant Ulibarri wonders if the kit was taken as a Father Rivera's body and Father...
Oh my god, really? You're going back up... Oh my god. On. Jesus Christ. Where the fuck was it? Let's see. Wipe clean. Okay, heal. Okay. Come on. Come on. Anytime now, computer. Oh, now it fucking stops. Okay, hold on. I'm going to pause this because this is going to be a little bit of a battle. I will be right back. Okay, I am back, and the browser did a hard crash. So let's, I got it back to here. Let's see if it works. Come on. Come on. I know you can do it. It's not that fucking hard. How the fuck is it that this program is this shitty?
And a crucifix. Lieutenant Ulibarri wonders if the kit was taken as a souvenir. He says the killer may have taken it so that he could relive the experience. Every time he looks at it, he
Remembers killing a priest. And I don't think that's the case. I think literally what it is that like I just mentioned, I think it was taken as a confirmation of the hit being a success, basically.
RS killing a priest. When Lieutenant Ulibarri learned of Father Kerrigan's disappearance,
Oh my god, seriously?
The
Oh my god.
motive in this case.
Wow. Holy shit, this fucking program. Hold on, I'm gonna probably read it a little bit. When Lieutenant Ulibarri learned Father Kerrigan's disappearance, he flew to Ronan to investigate the similarities between the two cases. He says that in both cases, the killer wanted people to know that he killed a priest by leaving evidence behind. He believes that whoever killed Father Riviera was also involved in Father Kerrigan's disappearance. There are other similarities between the two cases. Both victims were about the same age and drove brown Chevrolets. Both were last seen at night and disappeared in late July or early August. Both cars had been wiped down and were driven away from the crime scene, but yet, like I said, they said that they found evidence in the car, if I remember correctly. Both of their sacramental holy oils used for last rites are missing. Father Rivera's body and Father John Kerrigan's clothes were found in remote areas near roads outside of town. A deformed metal coat hanger was found near Father Kerrigan's clothes, and there is evidence a coat hanger was used in Father Rivera's murder. In both cases, robbery was not the motive. Perhaps most significantly, both priests belonged to the Select Order of Franciscans. It was also discovered that Father Kerrigan had been at a monastery in Yemen's Springs, New Mexico, for 3 months in the spring of 1983 for further education. One major difference was that Father Kerrigan had just recently arrived in Ronan, while Father Rivera had been at St. Francis Cathedral in Santa Fe for over 15 years. The other major difference was that Father Kerrigan's body was never found. Although Lieutenant Ulibarri believes that the cases are connected, other investigators disagree. Lieutenant Ulibarri hopes that other law enforcement agencies with similar cases of murdered Catholic priests will contact him. He believes there is a possibility that there's a serial killer targeting Catholic priests. And that could be true, that there's a serial killer targeting them. But for what reason? I still think this could have something to do with the abuse allegations that have been going on for over 2 decades. Okay, so let's see how this works. Let's see here.
Guiding Catholic priests. Suspects. On the same day Father Kerrigan vanished, 4 men escaped from the Swan River Youth Camp, about 50 miles northeast of Ronan. They were reportedly seen in Ronan later that day. 2 of them were captured the next day in Superior, Montana, after abducting and raping a young woman at knife point in Avaro, Montana. The other 2 were captured a week later after committing several burglaries in Billings, Montana. All 4 men were questioned about Father Kerrigan's disappearance. However, they denied any involvement in the case.
And were later ruled out. 2 days after Father Kerrigan vanished, 18-year-old Reed Nevins killed a 41-year-old woman in her Polson home. Investigators discovered that Nevins was in Ronan on the night of Father Kerrigan's disappearance. He was questioned, but no evidence was found to link him to the case. A few days after, hold on, let's see here. A few days after Father Kerrigan vanished, a drifter was picked up in Utah on a misdemeanor charge. The man had newspaper clippings about the case in his wallet and asked the police if Father Kerrigan's body had been found yet. He was later released from custody without being questioned about the case. In July 1985, investigators stated that they had a possible suspect in Father Kerrigan's case. The suspect was reportedly a former male lover of Father Kerrigan's and was under surveillance in another state. Sources in contact with the suspect gave police information about his possible involvement. However, the suspect was never publicly identified or charged. Robbery is not believed to be a motive in this case. Some investigators believe it might have been a crime of passion. They noted that Father Kerrigan might have been gay, which could have led to someone possibly targeting him. Okay, so we have the extra notes. This case first aired on the November 23rd, 1988 episode. It was later referenced in the episode of On the Case of Paul Azan. Interestingly, Father Kerrigan was friends with another priest named Reverend James Otis Anderson, who vanished from Townsend, Montana, on June 3rd, 1982. He was last seen driving east on Highway 12 towards White Sulphur Springs. The two had worked together in White Sulphur Springs at the same time. However, the police found no connection between the two cases. I'm wondering if this Reverend James Otis Anderson was also a Franciscan. Let's take a quick look here. Oh, okay, it doesn't actually. Does it say anything but what his... Okay, hold on, let me do a search. Nope. So it could be that he was just like a priest, but not of the same order. Okay. On July 22nd, 1984, 2 days after Father Kerrigan disappeared, a 31-year-old schoolteacher named Curtis Holman disappeared from Missoula, Montana. 12 days later, his truck was found on an old logging road about 40 miles from where Father Kerrigan's car was discovered. Curtis was reportedly bisexual, leading some, including his brother, to speculate that the two cases were related. However, there is no evidence connecting the cases. Many witnesses, including church officials, were reluctant to speak with police about this case. Some sources state Father Kerrigan disappeared on August 8th when he had been in Ronan for 4 days. His clothing was found a week after his disappearance, or that Monday, and his wallet was found with his clothes and contained $200. Okay, so the one thing that I kind of just I'm guessing you could say that I kind of had him, like, it made me remember another case where they're saying that church officials were reluctant to speak to police about the case. That reminds me of a case of I think it was a Hasidic Jew. There was a child, or a boy, young teenager, I think it was, who was murdered in his dorm room. And the members of the oh god, I can't recall what the Jewish name of the Yeshida. I think it was Yeshida. That nobody would speak to the police officers because it goes against their religion to talk about stuff that they're not sure of. So I saw this, and that made me instantly think of that case. Okay, let's see if the computer will read this. So let's go on.
Results: unsolved. In April 2015, following a $20 million lawsuit, the Roman Catholic Diocese of Helena published a list of 80 clergy members and staff, mostly priests and nuns, who had been suspected or implicated in the sexual abuse of children, Father Kerrigan was included on the list. In fact, the monastery that he attended in Hemis Springs, the Congregation of the Servants of the Paraclete, was used as a retreat for clergy suffering from personal difficulties such as substance abuse, depression, and sexual misconduct. The reason for his being there has not been disclosed.
Okay, so this kind of this is what I was talking about earlier. Could it be that he you know that Father Kerrigan could have hurt a child, and it could be either that child that was hurt, earlier in their life, or it could even be like a family member that could have authorized the hit that was put out, if it was a hit that was put out on Father John Kerrigan.
It was noted that Father Kerrigan often moved between different churches in Montana, not staying in one area for too long. Ronan was his 13th assignment. The Catholic Church often moved around priests accused of sexual abuse. It has been theorized that Father Kerrigan was killed by one of his former abuse victims or someone related to one of the victims. However, this theory has not been confirmed.
Okay, former investigators have said that they knew about the sexual abuse allegations while investigating Father Kerrigan's disappearance. Surprisingly, they do not believe his murder was related to sexual abuse allegations. Well, what else could it be? It wasn't robbery. It wasn't an act of passion. There was nothing really there. It wasn't drugs. I wonder if there, at least with Father Kerrigan, I'm wondering if there was something going on with the sexual abuse allegations. Let's see here. Lieutenant Ulibarri no longer believes that Father Kerrigan and Father Rivera's cases are connected. I think if Father Ronaldo Rivera was killed, it could be that he was like a mistaken kill. Like they did not mean to kill him. They had the wrong guy, and they had to kill him because he would have told people what was going on. But anyway, Brian D. Ambrosio, author of Montana Murders Notorious and Unsolved, stated that he believes that Father Kerrigan may have staged his disappearance, possibly with help from the Helena Diocese. This theory has not been confirmed. He remains missing. Okay, anything down here? No, there's a lot of articles, but nothing that I really check out. I normally go to Find a Grave, so that was it, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say thank you to Jasmine for joining us for this case, and that is about it for the case viewing. So when I return, it will be with my final thoughts. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
When is a flexible line trimmer good enough to be a Toro? When it does the back-breaking job of trimming and weeding this neatly, this quickly. When it automatically feeds out new line and cuts it to the right length. When it's lightweight and adjustable for easy handling. Automatic line feed. Easy, effective trimming. That's when a trimmer is good enough to be a Toro. Haven't you done without a Toro long enough?
Okay, everybody, welcome back. This is the time for my final thoughts, and basically, we have a priest who went missing over 30 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. It has been over 30 years since Father John Kerrigan disappeared. I personally do not think that he is actually still alive. I sadly believe that he was probably dead pretty soon right after he disappeared. I will forever believe that this is a case of somebody being possibly punished because of the child abuse allegations that has been going on against the Catholic Church. However, until we actually find Father Kerrigan in whatever shape he is in, we will never truly know what happened to him. With that said, here, let me do this. I think we have finished. Hold on. I don't have it. Wait. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, I think we have recently finished, or we just finished season 1, episode 9 of. Oh no, we actually still have one more case for this episode. So I'm going to do a quick preview, or basically talk about it. The final case for season 1, episode 9, it revolves around the mystery rock. Now, I'm going to be honest, I do not believe in this thing at all. People claim that this rock brought their family good luck. I think it was just that the family made good business decisions, and that's why their luck turned around. I don't think it has anything to do with this rock. I think this rock was just vandalized by a lot of people over the years, and that's about it. So basically, the next installment, which is the final installment for season 1, episode 9, will focus on the mystery rock. Okay, so with that out of the way, hold on, let's get back to this. That is about it for the Franciscan Connection. This was part 2 of John, which covered John Kerrigan. It's a very interesting case all around. We had a priest who was murdered and another who disappeared, and we don't exactly know why. But this goes back to you, the viewer. Who knows? Maybe one of these days you may remember somebody saying something, or maybe somebody will confide into you about what happened. And if that's the case, you may have the information that can solve this case. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have enjoyed this video. As always, here, let me move this down. I don't know why it's still so far up there. Hold on, As always, if you liked what you watched, which I hope that you did, feel free to click on that subscribe button. It doesn't take a lot of work to click on that button, but it helps me a lot, lets me know what people like and do not like. And I guess that's about it. So I will see you next time for the next riveting installment of Black Site Files from Unsolved Mysteries. My name is Jeff, aka GCurse, wishing you all a great day. Stay safe, everybody. Peace out.
Right on the heels of the Mazda RX-7 come two great new values, the new Mazda 626 Sport Sedan and Sport Coupe. Great road cars with a responsive 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, 5-speed, steel-belted radials, AM/FM stereo, split fold-down rear seat, all standard, all from just $54.95. The new Mazda 626.
The more you look, the more you like.